Welcome to another new week of the CFO Swinger Watch. And a big shout out and big welcome to all the new subscribers to the CFO Swinger Watch. So, if you guys don't know what this is just a quick technical breakdown of all the names that I've given you guys for this new week. All right, let's get straight to the point. So, first off, we should look at the overall markets, SPY or SPY. All right. So in the past few weeks, I've told you guys that we are in a confirmed uptrend ever since we dipped to 414.70, and then we immediately broke to the upside above this 421.50-ish level. All right. And ever since then, we've been hitting new all-time highs every single trading day. All right. And on Friday last week, we just had a huge amount of buying going into the market and into the close, which gives me a very warm heart to think that this uptrend will continue. However, we are a little bit overextended here at this point ever since the March 2020 lows here. If I can show you guys uh, this chart, overall chart here. Okay. So the March 2020 lows was $214.11. So we've come a long way uh, to these all-time high levels. And it seems like we will continue to see all-time high levels into this new week. Now, let me show you guys this intraday time level, this 2 hour time frame. So what I'm looking at here is I see a little tiny pocket of a demand zone, a demand area here around 430 to 431.50-ish, all right? And I'm starting to see a formation of a megaphone chart pattern here. Now, the reason why we call it a megaphone chart pattern is that, well, it basically looks like a megaphone, all right? So now, with the megaphone though, okay, it's basically telling me that we're going to see a lot more volatile price ranges. And why is that? Because as the chart is forming this chart pattern here, okay, we're going to get a wider array of price ranges as this descending support trend line and this ascending resistance line is moving away from each other until the price decides to break either above or to the downside. All right. But I think there's a higher probability of this price breaking to the upside because of one reason. All right. So every time we pull back and hit this descending level of support, we immediately bounce and we are immediately magnetized by this resistance trend line, and we continue to stay near the resistance trend line way more than this descending trend line here. Okay, so the more we spend time at this resistance level, okay, the better of a probability that we will break to the upside. All right. So you guys need to keep watch of this 436 whole number level because we can most likely break to the upside from this point on. Now, I just have to warn you guys that if we can pull back overnight like we did last week here, if you guys are looking at this gap down here, we can most likely see in one of the next few trading days another pullback down. All right, it can be a very volatile trading range as we're forming this megaphone chart pattern. Okay, so stay hedged. All right, so the first name that we need to go over is TSM. Now, as a disclaimer, I am already in this name. I got in at an entry last Friday, the break of 118.50-ish. So I'm already up a nice percentage here, but I am waiting on a big breakout above this crucial level of resistance around 121. Okay, and if we break above 121, I needed to stay above 121, and eventually I am going to be looking at the price head towards the first price target or the first level of resistance around 125. Now, TSM has been having a big run so far, and now it's in a nice accumulation phase here as we're going sideways. Now, this breakout was warranted by a very textbook a chart pattern here, a textbook bull flag here, all right, with a horizontal level of support and a horizontal level of resistance. So this is a very textbook breakout here of this textbook bull flag, all right? So we've been having a nice uptrend, and then once we start to see the steam kind of go out on this name, we start to form a nice range, eventually forming a nice macro falling wedge pattern that broke out, but it broke out very weakly, which warranted a nice pullback. All right, and so now we're looking at a very, very bullish breakout soon because of the last two trading days. If you guys see on last Thursday and last Friday, we've had some solid candlesticks form here with wide real bodies on these candlesticks. So I will be waiting for this breakout next week, or excuse me, this week. All right, so our second name is AVGO. So this is our second semiconductor name. Now, AVGO has also been showing a very, very nice bullish run, except this name is a lot more expensive price-wise, and it tends to have a lot more of a trading range compared to TSM. Now, with every other semiconductor name, AVGO has also been in a very, very big bull run ever since March 2020 lows here. It was at 146, and now we're at 480. So this is a very, very big run. Now, with AVGO, I need to give you guys a warning that this name can have very, very violent pullbacks and violent bounces. So you guys need to be cautious of that and aware of that, and to not get too emotional every single time you see the price just immediately move down or move upwards. All right. Now, what I'm looking at here is a formation of another textbook bull flag here, as we see a huge full support area forming here around 412 to 414 here, and then a nice big resistance around 485ish to 488. And if we're able to break out of this bull flag resistance, I can see a nice blue sky breakout into the 500s. All right, so this thing still has a lot of momentum, as evidenced by on Friday on the last two candlesticks, just as similar as TSM, with big, wide, real body candlesticks here, telling us that buyers were in control for the last 2 days of last week. All right, so I am hoping to see a continuation of this bullish run on this name, and eventually a breakout, a blue sky breakout above 488. Now, I am expecting a nice little pullback here back into 475-ish or 474.50-ish because of this initial breakout that we had last week, and for the fact that we did not see enough volume. All right, but there's always that price action to volume dilemma. We can see a continuous bullish run out of this breakout from this 475 level here, even if we're not seeing that buying volume. But I would most likely want to see a lot of volume come in coinciding with this increased price range here. All right. So as we're seeing an increased price range, I want that increased price range to the upside, meaning I want a nice big run to the upside on one of these days in this new week. Okay. Now, for PFE, all right, PFE is our third and last name. All right, we're also making a nice bullish pennant here, basically a bullish flag here, and it seems like my apologies about all these levels here, but these are all crucial levels. On Friday, that we had a huge reaction off of this descending resistance trendline that is now just forming, as evidenced by this top wick here last week. So this is a pretty bearish candlestick so far because of the reaction that it had to this trend line here as we start to pull back. But if we are able to use this 39.50-ish whole number level as a new level of support from a previous level of resistance, I would like to see a nice bounce and a close hug of this descending trend line so that we can eventually break to the upside and head to the next level of resistance around 40.60-ish. All right. And so if we break above 40.60-ish, I am expecting another big breakout into the $42 level. All right. So that is it for our major names for this week. But I am looking at some extra names here. So this is another disclaimer. I am already in Riot. So if you guys don't know what Riot is, RIOT, it is a name that's heavily influenced by Bitcoin's moves. All right, so if you guys can't assume already what I'm looking at for this week's cryptocurrency, I'm looking at Bitcoin, right? BTC, right? And that's the reason why I've also am looking at Riot here, and the reason why I'm also in this name since last week. Now I've made a risky entry, betting on that we will hold this ascending level of support here, this trend line here, and that we will eventually bounce this week and into the 36 to 38 level price levels once again. All right, so we do have a nice level of resistance around 38. All right, and we need to fill in this gap down that we had from 34ish, so around 34.50ish to around 35. All right, so I actually have July 16th 35 option contract. All right, 35 call. All right, 35 strike there. So if you guys want to play that specific contract, make sure you guys are managing your positions well, and make sure you guys are using the right position sizing for those contracts. All right. Now, the next name that I have is BDX. All right. So this is a very not too popular name, but it has enough volume for me to actually watch this name. So this is a name that I've been looking at ever since I started to trade. And if I look at the weekly time frame, you guys can kind of see the bigger picture here. We've been in a consolidation phase ever since September 8th, 2018 here, right? This is a huge, huge, huge range ever since we're just in a blast off mode to the bull side here, and we are still in the same price range since 2018, right? And since 2020 here, we've been making a huge, 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 huge wedge here, or ascending, or excuse me, a symmetrical triangle. So a wedge and symmetrical triangle chart pattern are both synonymous. They're the same name essentially for me, but so far this huge macro wedge or symmetrical triangle has been forming, and we've been stuck in the same range since 2018. So if we're able to break out of this wedge here, all right, we can most likely see another blue sky breakout as we head over to the previous all-time high levels, which is around precisely 280 to 281. All right, and so if I go back to the daily time frame, let me do some of my technical analysis here live for you guys. So we have a nice support area around I would say around 235 to 237. So this is a crucial bounce area for the price to hold, for the buyers to hold here and bid the price higher. And then it seems like we are having a major level of resistance so far from last week around 250 to 252. All right. So at this point, doing technical analysis is like bread and butter to me. And if it's not for you guys need to be practicing that. It's essential that you guys are able to observe specific price levels and then be able to draw out those price levels that you're able to see with your naked eye. All right. So if you guys are having trouble, please, take a look at the beginner's trading guide. It's a great fundamental basics that you really, really need to know and really need to experience before you guys start trading in the real life market hours. All right. So, BDX, this looks like an absolute monster of a name here. But just one thing for this name is that this name can be very wicky in the sense that it can seem like it's not going to hold its current day's gains or even current day's losses, as it can have some nasty bounces or nasty rejection every single trading day. Right? I mean, if just by an observation of the candlesticks here, every single one of them have some sort of a large wick, either at the bottom wick or at the top wick. All right, so don't be too surprised if you see some nasty bounces or nasty rejections every single trading day on this name. So this name will it needs to have a lot. Well, it requires a lot of patience, especially if you're wanting to get in at this name. But if we break this 252-ish resistance level, and eventually breaks out of this descending level of resistance, we can see a huge, huge breakout and possibly like I've shown you on the weekly time frame, a nice breakout out of this huge multi-year range, okay, consolidation phase here. All right, so that's it for the stock picks. Let's look at Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is our apex cryptocurrency, our number one crypto, and so far it seems like we're forming a nice inverse head and shoulder here, head and shoulders chart pattern, which is a very bearish chart pattern, with the left shoulder right here, the big head right here, and then the right shoulder. However, it seems like this head and shoulders chart pattern is about to be negated because this right shoulder here has been consolidating for a long time. And when we consolidate for a long time like this, all right, it's telling me that the buyers are holding on. They're defending this this support area right here around 30,000 to a 40,000 price range here. All right, it's a very very big volatile price range, but it's cryptocurrency, so crypto is known to be very very volatile. But so far live, it seems like we are wanting to hold this $30,000 level and this very short term $33,000 level as well. Okay, so I'm going to be expecting a nice breakout right back into the $40,000 resistance as we've been seeing in the previous price action in June and in late May. All right, so either this week or even next week, I want to see a very big bullish run on Bitcoin, and eventually, if we're able to kind of hold this 40,000 level, and if we kind of hug this 40,000 level as we're going sideways underneath this level of resistance, I will most likely want to see a bull flag pattern to form and eventually break above the 40,000 level and possibly come back into the all-time high levels that we were experiencing back in late March and early April. All right, back into the 50s to the $60,000 range. All right, so that is it for this week. So that was a very quick technical analysis breakdown. I hope you guys have a good trading week. So make sure you guys are managing all the current positions that you guys may have, and please do not put on too much risk. Even though we are at all-time high levels, make sure you guys look at and read that final thoughts paragraph at the bottom of the CFO Swinger Watch. All right, so have a great rest of your trading week and good luck.